SUUNTO Core All Black. This is a very famous military-inspired watch, very popular with the armed forces from several places in the world and much of the tactical community. Was one of the first ABC watches, altimeter, barometer, compass watches. This was released about mid 2007-ish, more or less, 2008. I bought mine in 2010, and so I've had this for 13 years, and I haven't changed. The only thing I've changed is the strap. It was changed a few years ago. So I have this. It's really beat up so far. I've used this in so many places around the world, backpacking trips and hiking and several continents, types of weather, and it's still running. So this watch, as you can see, is missing the loom pip we have right there, and the bezel is faded. The bezel is made out of aluminum material, so with time you can see the metals peeling about there. The case is made out of composite, which is like a sort of fiber material, so to speak. It's very indestructible. And so the measurements of this watch are 49 millimeters, 49.1 times 49.1 lug to lug. So it's really big watch. We have to remember that about this time in 2010, that was the whole craze, large watches. Nowadays things are like going the other way, but the lug to lug is relatively short. 49 is still a larger amount. For what it's worth, black dials will always look a bit smaller than white or gray dials, if that helps anything. But the dial is huge, so it will look pretty chunky on the wrist. So I bought this in 2010 when I was not at all a watch person. I just remember seeing this in a catalog. There was a company called Camp Moore. It was sort of like an outdoors and hiking company. And like 20 years ago, I had a catalog, a very thin catalog, and I saw this brand. Never heard of it, but it just stuck with me, this brand. So fast forward to 2010, and I decided to buy it on Amazon. At the time, it cost me $230, which is a lot, because today I've seen it like for $100 in Jama Shop. But if you know what are the prices right now, please write in the comments. I think sometimes it's $200 to $300 maybe. But I did pay quite a lot back in 2010. So this watch is rated for only 30-meter water resistance. For better or worse, when I bought this, I was not a watch fanatic. I just liked the watch, but I was not into watches at all. So I naively, but luckily nothing happened. But since I thought, well, 30 meters water resistance, that's amazing. That's a lot. Because in my pool I just go a couple meters at the most, so I use this for about 10 years, almost every day. And I went on the pool, I went to lakes, some hot spring waters, and the water never went in. There was no water intrusion, so that speaks a lot about the construction of this watch. The gaskets, I've never changed the gasket on this watch, so a lot of people like that you can change the battery yourself. I use a coin, just put a coin here, and then I just open it up, make sure not to touch any parts of the batteries or the mechanism, the quartz mechanism over there, and you're good. It uses a 2032 battery. The battery does not last a long time. According to the manual, 12 months it'll last if you don't use constantly the compass and the light. But if you use the compass and the light, the backlight, it'll probably eat your battery life pretty quickly. So expect even a few months it could go away. But it is easy and cheap to change the battery yourself, so you're good there. The strap, the plastic strap, I had it on for 9 years through different weathers, and after almost a decade it started to break away, so I switched it and I bought a very soft, almost seatbelt strap. I wish I could tell you where I bought it from, but I forgot. I know I bought it on eBay, but I forgot the exact seller because I'd love to get another color. It's really comfortable. That said, I may get the OEM strap again just for the fond memories. But yeah, so I used this almost for a decade. I've had it for 13 years, but I used it straight like for 9-10 years. And but I was not totally into watches when I used it that decade. So the reason I got into watches was actually this watch, in that about 4 years ago I saw a picture of myself and my wrist. I saw this watch and I had like formal attire. I was at a dinner and I saw this watch on my wrist and I thought to myself, maybe I should think about another watch, because this juxtaposition of a big tactical watch with my attire doesn't fit. So it took me a decade to get into watches, to really get into watches, after I saw a photo of myself with this. And I just went down the rabbit hole and looked on Amazon and Seiko's, and I started watching YouTube watch people, and that's how I really got in. But for almost a decade I was not really into watches. But this watch, it's helped me so much. If we remember, like in 2010, 2011-ish, there were smartphones and Google Maps did exist. But it took me a while to start using a smartphone. I think maybe 2015 or 16, that's when I really started using it. So why do I say that? Well, for many of my trips while I was backpacking in Europe or traveling throughout the US, I would use the now antiquated, which is now a prehistoric item, called a map. I used a physical map. I don't know if people use them still, but I used a physical map, and I would guide myself with the compass this has. So it was very, very useful. Remember some cities like New York or Chicago where you're under in huge skyscrapers and you don't know where north or the west is, which is where the map points you to a certain direction. And this baby helped me so much to find myself. It was very, very useful. So besides the compass, it is a very useful the barometer, which helps for, there's a storm alarm option on this watch, which you can opt for an alarm. And it also has, let's see here, an altimeter. So I'm currently in Colombia right now, and as you can see, I'm pretty high, 25 to 8 meters high, so I'm pretty high at the moment. And you can see there's a time at the top. The crystal is mineral, but I've only had a few scratches. There's the day, date, the month, the seconds. As you can see, the seconds also go around the chapter ring. You can remove that if you wish. We have a countdown timer. This is the sunrise and sunset. Back to the sunset and sunrise, you can change it to several cities throughout the world. We have a stopwatch. I'm sorry, so this is the countdown timer. The one I had before was a dual time. Dual time, 10:45. So if we press this middle option, we have the altimeter. You can record your ascents or descents, and it's cool that you still have the time. Here's where you calibrate the compass. There are already so many tutorials on this, so I won't go into full, but you can change the button tones and whatnot. Here's the watch on my 6.5-inch wrist. This very comfortable strap. The backlight is pretty good, this backlight. I have a little bit of natural light where I am, so you can't see it that much. But at pitch darkness, it's pretty substantial, the light. So what are some of the pros and cons of the SUUNTO Core All Black? Well, it's very stealthy, this watch. So if you're into that vibe, if you want a very low-key watch, it is very noticeable in the watch. It's very big, but low-key in the sense that it has a negative display, and there's not many other than the crystal with its reflections. It's not very blingy, quite the opposite, as a matter of fact. This watch is Finnish, the brand, from Finland. However, it's made in China. On the back it says actually designed in Finland but cased in China, made in China. But what are some of the negatives of this watch? Well, I think that the battery life, which is very little compared to other watches like other Casios, that's definitely a con. And another con that I think is that this watch does not have the hourly chime function. And so this watch has, this SUUNTO has so many complicated things that it does: compass, barometer, thermometer, so many things, depth meter, but it doesn't have a simple hourly chime. Even on Casio F91W has that, so I wish it would have that hourly chime because a lot of people find that pretty useful, and yeah, we like it on a digital watch. Other than that, I think this is a great buy, especially if you can purchase it for about $100, which is on sale sometimes. And as you've seen, it's weathered with me for 13 years, and it's still going strong. So please leave in the comments how has your experience been with the SUUNTO Core All Black.